Hi, I'm Sonny. Thanks for joining me here at the Underground. Tonight I wanted to talk about our planning. Is your plan good? Is it secure? Does your family know it? I was sitting back thinking, and I'll be the first one to admit, my bugging plan had some severe holes in it, and it definitely wasn't realistic, to where I had to really rethink everything. And it showed me that I needed to also make sure that my kids and the rest of my family knew what to do in this type of situation. My family's not into prepping like I am. They don't knock me or give me any hard time about it, but it's not their thing. I have younger teenagers, and they're teenagers. And, my wife kind of does her own thing. She supports what I do, but she's just really not, it's not her thing. So it made me realize that I really need to make sure that they know their roles and parts to play if a shift situation occurs at any moment of the day. I had to sit down with my kids and come up with safe place to meet and a backup if something happened during the day while they were in school or as soon as they got out of school. My kids don't live in walking distance from where we live, so that could, become a severe problem. And I also work an hour away from where we live, so there's, a lot of time in between there if something were to happen. And I needed to make sure that, they knew what to do so they weren't running around panicking like the masses are probably going to be. And it also made me think, like, what if there's no cell service and I can't get in touch with everybody? And it really helped me tighten up my plan and with my family to know that everyone at least has a better chance of being safe and what to do and where to go. It also helped me realize that if we're at home when this happens, does everybody know what they need to be doing? The important things to grab. We live in an older Victorian 4-bedroom house, and there's a lot of windows. There are a couple doors, front door, back door, and I realized that we definitely couldn't continue to live throughout the house if we had to bug in a serious situation. And obviously we'd only be bugging in if it was safer to do that than to leave. We don't live in a big city, so I don't think massive riots or gangs are an issue for us. So bugging in is definitely a realistic plan for us, but for some it might not be. When bugging in, you still want to make sure you can be as safe as you can be. And like in my house, for example, having all the windows throughout the whole first and second floor, it wouldn't be realistic to continue living throughout the whole house if there was a lot of violence and chaos in the streets. So what I'm doing is over the next month, maybe a little longer, I hope not, but possibly, I'm going to reorganize and set everything up to where we can all come down in the basement and be safe and secure. I'm going to make sure I have extra pallets and nails and things like that for the few windows that are down here. Now, they're small windows, so they'd be easy to cover up and protect, but at the same time, if we had to escape out of them as a backup, we could do that. But there's only a few windows. They're on one side of the house, and, it would just be a good, safe place for us to be. So I want to make sure I have, 90% of what we would need down here for a long period of time to get through. I'm also going to set up like a little workout area so we don't get cabin fever if we're stuck down here. Sleeping area, designated areas for everything, so it's pretty organized and as comfortable as it could be. But, till I really sat down and gave this deep thought, I'll be the first one to admit, I'm only human. You get so wrapped up in it sometimes, you don't give it a realistic thought, like you'd be able to board up your upstairs windows and doors and continue living through your whole house. And if you have a small house and you don't have a lot of windows and doors, I guess you might be able to do that, but I still think it's pretty risky. The less ways for people to get in, the better. And of course I would still board up those doors and windows, but we would live in the basement where it's safer, it's underground, and you know, we'd have a better chance of being safe till things really calm down out there. So I just kind of wanted to give you some food for thought about that, and that goes with all your planning. You know, what if there's no cell service, like I mentioned earlier? What if an EMP goes off and you have no power? Do you have everything you need where you can be safe and secure and defend in a moment's notice if you had to, pretty much? Do you have a good travel plan if you have to bug out? Does your family have it? Do they have their bug out bags? Do they have their bug out bags ready? Do they have what they need in them? I know here and there with us going camping, my kids like to bring theirs, and sometimes I, have to look at them and reorganize them because, that happens. They're kids. So I guess I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention just to make sure that your whole family is aware of what to do and your whole family knows where to go and what to grab and what their job is if something like this happened, because we're going to have to react quick to be safe and prepared. So like I said, we are going to reorganize our basement to make it a more comfortable living area if we had to be down here long term. We're going to make sure we have everything we need, from a way to cook food to just being comfortable and exercise and play games and kill time if we were stuck down here for a long period of time. How are you going to go to the bathroom? That's a realistic thing you need to think of if you are trapped in an area like my basement doesn't have a bathroom down here. So that is something we have to take into consideration if we're going to be down here long term. So I figured I'd share with you guys some of the preps. I've been moving down here to my basement and, where I'm at there. So what I've been trying to do is every other month buy one of these 30-day storage things. I want everyone in my family to have at least one, if not two of them, because, that stuff you can take anywhere, throw in your bag and go, or whatever you need. Also got a couple of these blue containers, and those tops flip around, and it's like a little spigot for like washing your face, brushing your teeth, things like that. And then I'm just starting to organize everything down here, like I said, because this is where we would be safest bugging in. And my goal is to have 6 months to a year of supplies for everybody in my family. So it gives us time to grow a couple gardens and get that stuff and stock up to put us in a good place. And I want all this down here because this is going to be my bug out location, and I'm establishing other jobs for my family on what they would grab and what they would bring down. And I mean, just your basic canned goods to your famous Roman noodles. But you can get kits like this, and they're not that expensive, and you can add that meat to them. And I mean, there's a lot in here, and it's packed with protein, potassium, things you need to give you energy and help you survive these types of situations. Gotta have your coffee. So I'm starting to take an inventory, see what we have, see what we need, and just go from there. Every week, whether it's $5, $10, I try to go out and buy, a bunch of soups. Like, those are under $1 a piece. I mean, 15, 20 bucks, you can buy a bunch of those. Same down here, just different variety. My heater's kicking back on again. Just SpaghettiOs, different kinds. Just, it's all cheap shit, but it'll get you through rough times if you need to. And, tuna, jelly, things that'll last a while. We got a friend who makes this amazing salsa. So we've been getting jars of that off of them and starting to stock that up. to, you know, you can go to like a Save-A-Lots or Walmart and buy these things, you know, anywhere from $1 to a couple bucks, and this will actually feed pretty much your whole family. I mean, there's a lot in here. It lasts forever, but we'll eat this stuff and then cycle it out. Like next time we go, if we buy a couple of those, we'll come down here, grab those, cook them, and replace them. You know, just the oatmeal. I mean, just any and everything we can think of. If it's cheap and we see it, we grab it, just because it adds to it, and it all adds up. And like I said, I want to give us 6 months to a year to where we don't have to stress over anything, and we could be self-sufficient, to where every week I've been going to the store and I'll buy 1 or 2 of these little propane tanks, and we have the little top here, so if we're stuck down here, you know, we have everything we need, and safety in case of a fire, you know. So just something to keep in mind. Go over your plans, give it a thought, make sure everyone in your family knows where you're at and their role to play. Because, you know, even when, think about if you ever had a family member that broke a leg or a hand, people run around, they can't find the car keys, they're looking for their wallet, and it's just, you know, it makes it stressful when you panic if you're not prepared. If everybody knows what to do, it'll just take a little bit of stress out of it. I'm sure regardless what happens, if we're in a situation where we need to bug in, it's going to be stressful and a little bit of panic, but we want to try to eliminate as much of that as we can. So, I don't know. Thanks for listening, everybody. Please subscribe, hit that bell notification, and as we get this bug-in area together, I'll start showing you guys other corners and areas, our workout, you know, things like that, and maybe it'll give some of you guys an idea. But have a good night. Thanks for listening, everybody.